Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Deal or Bust, where software founders come to try and sell their companies live. Make sure you don't miss next week's episode by going to nathanlatka.com/invite. And if we're just meeting, I want to say hello. I'm going to pull my phone out of my pocket here just so you guys know we are live. It's October 1st at 1:01 Central Time here. I'm excited to have all of you guys with us. And again, the founder today is a special founder. This is a Devops tool. He's bootstrapped this thing. The profits are incredible. And I think most importantly, everyone's going to learn a lot. So as you guys know, if this is your returning time to the show, or if you're just watching for the first time, the way it works is we're going to meet the founder here in about 3 minutes. We're then going to meet the buyers. We're going to meet experts. And in the end, will the buyers make a big offer to buy the company? And if the buyers do make offers, will the founder accept? It's a two-way street. We'll see if they get a deal done or if it ends up in a bust. Now, again, if this is your first time tuning into the show, this is sort of what folks have been saying about it. Clifton's saying, love this thing. It's raw. It feels like Shark Tank. Others like Ebenezer saying, feels like next Shark Tank. And Brian saying, wow, this is well worth the watch if you're a SaaS founder, an entrepreneur, or investor. And you guys are loving it. Look at this growth. We love this. 8,000 views on some of the first episodes. Now our more recent ones up in the 15,000 sort of view range. Again, so many of you guys choose to engage live and then thousands watch after the fact. And to make sure you don't miss these episodes as we release them and go live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central, go to nathanlatka.com/YouTube to subscribe. Or if you're here on YouTube already, I want to say thank you. It's good to see you. But I also don't want to make everyone mad if you're watching on LinkedIn or Twitter or Twitch or Facebook. We see all of you guys watching, but make sure you subscribe on YouTube because I think it's the only platform where you actually get notifications when we go live. All right. So what did you guys miss last week? What did you guys miss last week? Well, we saw a $20 million offer into a company called DocHub. You'll have to go watch the episode to see what happened to that offer. But today we've got a whole new set of buyers. We've got a whole new set of founders. To tease you a little bit, our buyers today are Matt Alfhauser with Polychrome Capital. He was Optimize. He's head of sales. He was the COO at Amplitude. This guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to B2B SaaS. We've got Chase Granberry, first timer on the show. He's the founder of Logflare, playing heavily in the DevOps space. I told him at a high level about the founder today. He said, I want to meet the guy or gal. I want to meet him. So Chase is joining. And then Preston, founder of PMT Ventures, again, ran a 9-figure business inside of Amazon before spinning out, launching PMT Ventures, and now buying SaaS companies. And as always, we've got a lot of energy coming in with our experts. We've got Jaco from Winning by Design, who'll be joining, helping the founder out. Should he take a deal? Should he not take a deal? What should he change about his products to get more sales? What's his customer base look like, et cetera. And Dev Basu with Powered by Search. So folks, we are locked and loaded today. And none of this is possible, though, without you guys in the audience. So I see Christopher Monterio said, missed last few weeks, excited for today. John saying, love the show. Sam saying, founder, best show ever. Guys, this is your show, folks. It has to be a win-win-win. I tell everyone that joins, it has to be a win for the founder that we're featuring today, it has to be a win for the buyers, and you guys have to feel like you're directly connected to the show. And you are. Check this out. If you guys leave a comment in the chat, I can turn you on just like this and put you on live. So I want to welcome Beauty Bubble TV, taking my seat for the race. They're excited to watch the show. John saying, love the show. Christopher saying, missed last week's and excited for today. Now, if you're joining for the first time, I want to know about it. Let me know where you're joining from. And if you're a founder or an investor, in the comments. And I'll throw you some love live by featuring your comment here on the show. All right. Genesis saying, so excited for this, first time watching from Neosho. I think is that Montana? Genesis, is that Montana? I think that's Montana. I was never good at those history classes in school. So again, guys, buyers, founder, you guys, it's all part of the show. Should we meet the founder? Are we ready to meet the founder? Give the founder some love because you guys are going to see the founder share their profit and loss statement. They're going to talk about their product, the tech stack, the customers. You have to be very vulnerable as a founder coming on and sharing all this stuff live. And we can't do the show if we can't convince a founder to come on and try and sell live. So you clicking the like button wherever you're watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook makes this thing work. So root the founder on, give them some love right now. We're going to meet them in about 27 seconds. But first, I want to thank my friend Andrew Gizdecki at microacquire.com. He teed up the introduction to this particular founder. Microacquire.com is a place where you can buy and sell software companies quickly without any brokers. I encourage you guys to check it out. Without further ado, let's meet our founder today. Very excited to introduce Alex from Swiftify to the show. Alex, welcome to Deal or Bust.
Welcome. Nice to meet you.
I bet. Well, we're not meeting, but you're meeting everyone in the audience. So it's good to get you. It's good to have you back on. We talked briefly ahead of time and I said, Alex, what's the company and what sort of deal are you looking for? So tell us, what is the company and what deal are you looking for today?
Swiftify is the converter for developers that converts source code from Objective-C to Swift. Our users are iOS and macOS developers. Ideally, I want to find a buyer who has some enterprise sales experience because we have a huge growth in the enterprise field. So I'm a technical founder, and most ideally, I am looking for a non-technical buyer who has some sales experience.
So you're looking for a buyer or a partner that has a non-technical buyer or partner that can help you drive growth in this tool. You do have success, and you guys are going to see this live here. He does have success selling very large plan to enterprises. Wait till you see the sort of customer breakdown. There's clearly an opportunity to do more of it. But as Alex said, he's a developer. He's been cranking. Alex, you're not quite in your basement, but you've been cranking basically from your home building this, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Fair enough. So let's talk through sort of customers and product and how folks are using it. Walk us through this graphic here. What does it mean when you say Swiftify is the most used converter in the market?
Well, I started Swiftify way back in 2014 when Swift language was just a few months old. And since then, we were number one in Google. We had the most features, etc. So if you Google for Objective-C to Swift converter, you will probably find us. Although there were like 5 or 6 competitors who appeared after the time. Nowadays, we are clearly number one. No one is developing their own solution at the moment.
And walk us through the timeline here, Alex. You launched the company MVP in 2014. Did you just put sweat equity into building that, or did you spend a bunch of money building the MVP?
Well, MVP was built in like 2 weeks. I made a very minimal MVP that only converted method declarations, and I put it live to see if there is any interest. And I have found that in spring 2015, it became number one in Google, and the user base was increasing. So I decided to move on. This was a good sign.
We love that. So Alex, you launched in 2014. The SaaS product happens in 2015. We're going to talk about your revenue in a second, but tell me economically, what deal are you looking for today? Is there a price you're looking for, and how much of the company do you want to sell? 80% to 100%? Sort of tell us what the perfect deal would be.
So the listing price is $450 for the Objective-C to Swift converter, because we also have our new product, which we'll cover slightly later. And ideally, I would like to sell 51 to 100% of the company, because I am still happy to stay in if needed.
So just to summarize, you're valuing the company today at $450,000 US, and you're open to selling a majority stake between 51% and 100% of the company. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay, very good. Guys, if you're just tuning in live, you're maybe going, okay, well, if that's the valuation Alex wants, what's the revenue? We'll get to that in a second. We want to bring in our buyers as well. And I also want them, and then the buyers, to have a chance to ask Alex questions about the company. Alex, touch briefly, though, on sort of one last time here, because this is a DevOps tool. And admittedly, this is something that I don't necessarily understand because I'm not a developer. So for someone watching right now who is not quite sure what it means to be a converter between like Xcode and Swift, can you maybe give us a sort of a very clean example of how that works?
Sure. So this works like Google Translate, but it translates between programming languages rather than human languages. Objective-C is a very old programming language used for iPhone and Mac development. It was started way back in 1970s, while Swift is 5.5 years old. It's very new, popular, easy to use. So we do something which is nearly impossible. We automatically migrate the source code from one language to another.
Yep. Yeah. And this is literally, I mean, Alex, what I love about this is you don't hide behind some paywall. There's no email opt-in. You literally put the thing on the homepage of the site. People can go here, they can paste in their Swift code, you then click convert, and boom, it converts. And again, help people understand what this means. Storyboard to Swift UI. Is this like an engineer who's talking to a to a marketer or a salesperson or the designer? Like, who are the two parties that are using each piece of the code on each side before the conversion and after the conversion?
Good question. So this is our new product that I didn't cover yet. this is the converter for the same iOS and macOS developer audience. It converts from storyboards, which are like canvas in Photoshop. This is a set of screens that a developer uses to create a design in a WYSIWYG-like editor, and it converts this to SwiftUI, which is the new Apple's concept that allows you to write Swift code to develop the UI.
So, Alex, if I was to put this in sort of a singular statement here, for people watching right now, there might be a designer who uses Figma, and then their developers can click a button in Figma to convert all the Figma code into their design into actual code. You're sort of doing the same thing, but for iOS and Mac apps. Is that accurate?
Yes, this is almost accurate, only that this is a tool for developers. Designers not usually use storyboards or Xcode, so this is a developer-to-developer tool, and this allows you to migrate to the new concept introduced by Apple, which is way better in many aspects, like easier to maintain, more clear code, easier to share between iOS and Mac, etc.
Very good. Alex, we're about to meet the buyers. Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Don't be. They're big teddy bears until you start trying to take their money. Then they change a little bit, but we'll see how that works. You built a great program here. Guys, if you're just tuning in, I want to say welcome to another episode of Deal or Bust. I see Eric Hill. I want to give you guys a live shout out. All 50 people in your entrepreneurship seminar class from Mississippi State University watching right now. I want you guys to be putting valuation estimates in the chat. We're going to have a great show today. We're about, call it 6 minutes away from actually seeing the revenue Alex is generating. But first, we want to bring in our buyers. Obviously, a sale doesn't work without buyers. Our first buyer we want to bring in is Matt Althauser with Polychrome Capital. Matt, welcome to Deal or Bust.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me.
What's your quick take on this? You know, when I told you it was a DevOps tool, I was surprised for you to say you're interested because your background is Amplitude and Optimizely. What are you thinking?
So excited. So this is actually what our fund is starting to focus on more and more is, developer tools, DevOps space. Really love what you've built here, Alex.
Can you give some history, Matt, in terms of deals you've done or what kind of capital you're working with and where you got the capital from?
Yeah, so we have our first portfolio company, which is a feature flagging platform. So it's the first, and then we're making more investments over time. We have about $5 million to invest. We're looking to build out a whole suite of developer tools and looking for different things like this right now.
Love that. Sounds like a great fit. Let's meet our second buyer, Preston Tucker. Preston, welcome to Deal or Bust.
Hey, Nathan. Thanks for having me on again.
You bet. Talk us through where you're getting your capital from and your hot take here on Swiftify.
Yeah. So capital-wise, a mix of my own capital from my very fortunate time at Amazon and just a mix of LPs that I've collected over the past year as well. So we've got about $2 million. We're looking to continue to deploy throughout this year. And then hot take so far, definitely a kind of a new space to me. The DevOps tool, from a niche perspective, I think is super interesting. There's a lot of opportunity. Definitely looking to dig into some of the economics with Alex here. Thanks for coming on, by the way. It takes a lot of guts.
Yep. Alex, again, everyone rooting for you, man. Let's meet our last buyer here. Chase Granberry. Chase, welcome to Deal or Bust.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having me.
First timer on the show, which we always love. We're going to throw you in the fire here. Where are you getting your capital from and why are you interested in DevOps tools?
I had a little marketing software company that I sold a couple of years ago. Basically, I've just been looking for little things, to put together to, make something bigger. I'm currently working on like a DevOps tool myself. So this was like especially interesting to me.
Yep. And what is Logflare? What is Logflare doing?
Logflare is like a centralized logging service for developers. A lot of these things exist. It's a big market, but I think we can do a little bit different. So
very good, Alex. There you have it. We got 3 buyers. They love DevOps. They've got cash. The question is, will we get a deal done? So, guys, the show is yours for the next 5 to 10 minutes. It's the buyer's chance to ask Alex any question they've got about the product, the team, customers, etc. Matt, we'll start with you. What's your first question for Alex?
Yeah, if you could talk to me about the average paying customer. You said that there was some enterprise interest. I've built enterprise sales teams a bunch in my career. Love to know about it.
Good question. This year, the price for enterprises was $5K per year or 1K per month, we have recently increased it to 3K per month and 7.5 per year. Most of the times it is negotiable, so we're asking what's the number of users you want to support and how long for. So most of the times this is not automatically built through our platform, but manually voiced. And I see quite a lot of room to increase this going further because we have companies like Google, Facebook, Devops, eBay on board.
Google and Facebook, Alex, are using your tool currently. Are they on the free plan or are they paying?
They are paying.
Very cool. And what are you charging them?
They started at Google started at like $25 or $100 per year, and Facebook subscribed. They were one of our early subscribers when we have just launched the offline converter way back in 2018, and the price was ridiculously low, like $1,000 per year. And actually, I wasn't able to upsell them to anything higher yet, but they will have a renewal later this year. So we definitely have chances to increase going further.
So Alex, the thing I want to point out to Matt, considering his enterprise background, you guys see here a list. Obviously, we don't list the actual customer names, but you can see the amount of customers on different price points. This is using founderpath.com. So you can see, Alex was building this company, wasn't really sure if enterprises would pay thousands per month for it. He throws up that option on the pricing page and closes a $3,000 a month customer, right, from the pricing page. So Alex, this is exciting. This is, to me, is an early indicator that there might be a very real enterprise play here.
Just wanted to clarify that this data pulled from Stripe has almost everything, but not everything, because some enterprises are manually built using wire transfer or PayPal, check, anything else. So there are quite more enterprise payments than we see here in this sheet.
Got it. So there's more. You're doing more than this, not less. This is not overestimating; it's underestimating. Matt, any other questions there on pricing?
Just to confirm, these are all monthly, correct?
Most enterprises are yearly. So most SaaS users are monthly. We have SaaS plans for $50 to $300 per month, but most enterprises are yearly, like 80 or 90% of them are yearly.
Alex, just to be clear though, the ones you're seeing on the screen right now, these are all people paying, $166 a month, $2,999 per month. The enterprises you bill annually, you bill via AC, like via wire transfer in your bank, right?
Yeah, correct. So enterprises, most of them are built manually and not displayed here.
Yep. Very good. Very good. Okay, let's go over to Chase. Chase, what question do you have for Alex?
Well, what's like the largest enterprise deal you have right now? Like customer?
Up to now, we have customers who paid us $5K per year, and we had, for example, one enterprise from Asia, from Japan, who paid $5K for themselves and then another $4K for their subsidiary. Or we have those who paid this amount and paid for another renewal, because our enterprise product is like 2 years old. It was started in 2018.
Okay. And are these, there's obviously a lot of monthlies that you have here, but in terms of like converting projects, there's, do people sign up and like convert a bunch of projects and then leave?
Good question. So yeah, we have seen such pattern among some of our users. A portion of our users wants one-time conversion, and that is why we have recently improved and reintroduced our pay-as-you-go plan, which is more expensive, but it allows you to do exactly that. On the web or desktop, you can upload and convert just a few files and pay for the conversion.
Right.
And Alex, just to quantify this for everybody, and again, this is only pulling from Stripe data. So Alex has other customers that are larger that he bills directly via the bank. But Alex, this look about right. So on average, you've got a lot of people trying it in month one. So churn's obviously biggest from month 1 to month 2. But it starts to flatten out in month 7 and 8 and 9, where you're seeing a 10 to 20% retention rate on those cohorts. Is that about accurate?
Yes, it's about accurate. This includes data for our SaaS non-enterprises most because of the reasons I explained. Enterprises are a bit manual.
Yep. Preston, let's go to you. Oh, go ahead, Chase. We'll come back to you. Preston, what questions do you have?
Sure.
First question was kind of on the cohort piece. What does the monthly churn look like for the enterprise versus the other kind of monthly plans or monthly clients?
Good question. Because for enterprise, we have not so many data. I mean, we are running the enterprise product for 2.5 years, and most of these customers are yearly. Only this year we haven't introduced a monthly option at all. So I would say more than 50% of our enterprises were renewed for the next year, and maybe half of them we were able to upsell to a higher price. And regarding non-enterprises, we usually have a negative churn rate, which means we have more new customers than unsubscriptions.
On that question, Alex, walk us through the snapshot from your ProfitWell account where we break down September actual data in terms of new revenue, churned, reactivations, etc. What did we see happening here in September?
There is nothing very special about September other than we had very good enterprise sales in July, August, little less in September. We just were able to close quite a few companies that were like frozen from the COVID times and unfrozen since late summer. So in September, we have got almost the same amount for our regular SaaS subscribers. We have closed 2 enterprise deals in September, while it was maybe like 4 in August. So there were some differences. But these are still new enterprises on board, which is really great.
And before we go back to Preston for more questions, this is sort of, we're going to show the P&L here, sum this up for us. What's your sort of run rate? How much revenue do you think you'll do this year in 2020?
You see that the year-to-date revenue is 183K, so this will be close to 200K.
Yep. And talk to us about growth. Back in 2016, you had about 11,000 in revenue. I mean, what's driven most of this growth?
The SaaS product was launched in early 2015, where our revenues were close to zero. The next 2 years, 2016 and 2017, I was bootstrapping the project. I was paying salaries from my own cash. So this was like a cold start. We have started as a web-only platform, but then we have introduced convenient desktop tools, including Xcode extension and fully featured macOS app. And later in 2018, we have launched the offline product. Around 2017 and 2018, there was the time when we broke even and started to earn more than we actually spent.
And what has profit been so far to date in 2020? After expenses, how much money have you made?
It's like 10K USD per month easily. So last month it was like 5K, but for the last 3-4 months we had very good results. I think August I earned not less than 15K after all payments.
Matt, do you like profits, right?
We love profit. Yeah, we love it. Now, this looks like a really, really interesting business. 2 questions. How are you getting customers today? And you said the second question to that is you said that there's an opportunity for enterprise sales. What opportunities specifically do you see?
Most of our non-enterprise customers sign up organically because we are number 1 in Google. We have very good number 5 position among US free developer tools in the App Store. So if they want to find this specific converter, they will definitely find us. With enterprises, the most common scenario is they land in our pricing page where we have a buy it now button and we have a button to get a quote. They land in our Zendesk help desk system. Then I used to negotiate the price, given the number of developers, the terms they need, etc. I usually arrange a product demo with the technical team and eventually close the deal, which takes around a month. It depends. But I see a room to do active enterprise sales because we have already built a list of our potential customers, which are, for example, all large companies that have iOS or macOS apps in the App Store, or we also can target companies who have free accounts in our website and who have many users in a domain like IBM.com, for example.
Guys, if you're just tuning in, you're watching another episode of Deal or Bust, where SaaS founders come to try and sell their companies live. You're learning from Alex here. It looks like he's going to do about $250,000 in revenue this year and about called $150,000, $160,000 in profit, up from $90,000 in profit last year. These aren't fake numbers, these are real numbers. Launched the company in 2014. He's building this great tool. I'm not a developer. I don't understand, but I watch Matt and Chase and Preston's eyes and they get big. So I assume it's valuable. A lot of people are using it. Alex, you're closing deals at $3,000 per month from enterprises like Facebook and Google. If you guys are watching the show going, my gosh, I've got a company I love to sell. I'd love for Nathan to go find buyers for my tool. I encourage you guys to go to nathanlacka.com/casting. This is where you can tell me if you're wanting to sell your company. We'll look at potentially having you on. And also if you're a buyer and you have capital you want to spend and you want to buy a companies like Matt and Chase and Preston, go to nathanlacka.com/casting. My team will reach out if you're a good fit for an upcoming episode. Alex, you've got some good questions for buyers. I'm going to go back to Chase since I cut him off early. Chase, do you have any other follow-up questions here before we give you guys a break to think about any offers you want to make?
Well, actually, just following up on the profit, is your cost including, like, somebody asked a question here and I was thinking, also, does the cost include like your salary?
Good question. So this is registered as a private sole proprietorship in the US. So there is no like company bank account. And currently I spend like half of full time to manage the company. I do team project management. I also close these enterprise deals. Sure. Actually, I earn whatever you see in this sheet. There is no like my salary here.
Okay, so you're taking like a sales percentage or something. I mean, I guess if there's any like hard like actual cost of that revenue other than what you're paying yourself, like does it actually cost that? Like, what does it actually cost to like convert, this code? Like your server costs, essentially.
Speaking about server costs, they are around $500 per month, even a little less. So this is not very significant.
Sure. I guess let me just confirm what you maybe just reiterate what you said to see if I got it right. Basically, you're taking a percentage of sales for yourself, like to manage the company, and that's what those costs are. Is that what you said?
Well, actually, I take everything from the revenue because this is my sole proprietorship. This is my business. Okay. There is no company bank account. Of course, in the case of a sale, we will establish an LLC and transfer everything there because we're using the US-based Stripe. But currently, all revenues go to my personal account.
Alex, that's the best way to build a SaaS company. All revenues and profits go to your personal account. That's how you build wealth in this space. So just to be clear, you own 100% of the company.
Yep. Right.
And everything we see here as EBITDA is just money that basically goes into your bank account. That if you did have a quote unquote salary, it's basically this EBITDA line.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. All right, guys, we're going to now give the buyers a break, a second to come off the show, think about if they want to make an offer while we bring in our experts, Dev, Basu, and Yako with Winning by Design to tell Alex what they think. Is there an opportunity he's missing? Is $450,000 the valuation Alex wants cheap? Or is it too expensive? We're going to hear from them in a second, but first, we're going to just quickly get a hot take from both all of our buyers, Matt, Chase, and Preston, see where they're at before we give them a break. Matt, where's your head at? Do you want to stick around and potentially make an offer later on, or are you out?
Absolutely. Very interested.
Okay, very good. I'll give you some time now. Let's ask Preston. Preston, same question to you.
I'd like to be able to learn a little bit more about what his kind of daily responsibilities are, so I can forecast the replacement cost.
Great. Let's make sure we talk about that, data responsibilities. And Chase, same question to you. You interested here? Or are you out?
Yeah, I'm interested. I don't know a whole lot about the market, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested.
Very good. All right, buyers, you now don't have to worry about looking pretty here live on YouTube. You're off the show. You can sort of think and get your thoughts together. And the goal here is we'll bring the experts on, and then Alex, they're going to come back on and fit 5 to 8 minutes, and we'll ask 1 or 2 follow-up questions each, and then they can either make an offer or drop out and state why. And if you get a great offer, you push back and say, why should I take the offer? I want more, I want less, etc. Sound good?
Sure, thanks.
How do you feel? You feel like you're going to get a $450,000 offer?
I feel excited.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer. All right, very good. Let's go to our experts here, starting actually with the audience, right? Starting with the audience. So again, want to make sure, John, you reiterated what we're saying here. Again, yes, he's essentially taking dividends, right? All the profit from the company is feeding right out to him. FJ said, revenue cost in 2020 doesn't match EBITDA. Let's see what he is referring to. Yeah, so I think what you're saying there is when you take $183,000 from the P&L here in 2020 year to date and subtract the cost, it doesn't exactly equal 120. It could be 110, right? You can do the math there. It's 115 to 120, right in that range. We have math experts live here, Alex. They pick my slide deck apart. That's how it works.
Actually, the issue is that I have updated these numbers just today before the call with the numbers for September. And I don't know why some of the edits were not present here. So I can open the P&L right now to see the exact numbers.
Yeah, read them to us. There's no way for you to share your screen, but read them to us. So year-to-date top-line revenue, including September, is what?
Yeah, so the revenue is 185K USD, costs are 76 USD, and EBITDA is 122.
Perfect. There you have it. So basically the numbers you guys saw here on the screen, plus or minus a couple, like 1K here or there, essentially. Chris saying in the chat, Chris Montiero saying, quick Google search shows there's not any real competition. What is, Alex, before we bring on Jaco and Dev, what is the search tool, the search term that you're ranking #1 for, where there's very little competition and it's where you're getting a lot of your customers from?
Convert Objective-C to Swift, migrate Objective-C to Swift, whatever you spell it, you will find us. Sure.
So Objective-C to Swift, migrate, change, transfer, convert, whatever. Okay, very good. On that note, let's bring in Jaco with Winning by Design. Jaco, welcome back to Dealer Bus, man.
Happy to be here.
We're always a guy with his own clap track. That's a guy that can win my heart. Jaco, what do you see here? What's Alex doing well, and what opportunities do you think he's missing?
Okay, here's what's going on with Alex. Alex, as always, congratulations. If I annualize your sale, we're looking that you went from 70 to 160, and you're currently on track for 240, give or take, right?
240,000 a year.
240,000 a year. So that's a great growth track. Now, when I look at your metrics and I see what you churn and what you bring in, what I look at that is that your individual usage churns probably at the same rate as that you're signing up. So you see it, especially over the last month, you don't see a lot of growth coming from individual users. If I take into account, my suspicion is that your growth primarily comes from the bumps, the bigger bumps coming from these bigger contracts. Am I right that I don't see the month-to-month signups? Am I right to assume that?
Well, the situation changed a lot during the last few months. So 1 year before, the rate of enterprise sales and MRR from enterprise sales was less than 10% of our revenues. Since July, this is more than 50% of our revenues. So the situation is, first of all, I clearly know that any project like this has its own time window. I know that a smaller app will take hours, days, or weeks to migrate to Swift, and most of new smaller apps are started in Swift. Same time, apps like Facebook and your iPhone would take years to fully migrate, and this will unlikely happen fully. They are using some percentage of Objective-C and Swift because all of these apps were started way before 2014, before our product was launched.
Got it.
So I see the value in enterprises going further.
Where I want you to think about, and what I want the audience to think about. whether you're an enterprise sales company and follow an enterprise sales motion is not based on the size of the company you sell to. So we may sell to enterprises, but it doesn't mean that we have enterprise sales. Enterprise sales is determined by the buying motion. And in general, what enterprise sales refers to is multi-tiered buying. You do not have multi-tiered buying. Your buyers are the users from an enterprise like Google who are buying individual licenses. That is the key to your growth. You need to look at all the subscriptions that you're having as lead generation. From that, cherry pick the ones that you think can grow and grow those. And don't worry too much about the churn of an individual user who used it for 1 to 3 months. Focus on the ones who are actually using it. And I just chatted with Dev. He may ask a few more questions about that. I just want you to make sure your sales, where you're going to grow from, is from your $3,000 contracts. That is where you're going to get this growth from. Otherwise, you're going to churn them and you're going to get occasional usage and your growth is too slow.
Alex, besides upselling against the number of seats that Google might have paying you, are there other things you can upsell against? Number of lines of code converted, a feature upsell? Are there any other things you're testing to upsell against?
We are currently charging for the number of files. We found this works better than the code size. Actually, we are billing per user for enterprises. As I mentioned, the cost is negotiable in any specific case. We are also launching new products, including this storyboard to CFI converter, which may be an addition to the package and, of course, priced separately.
Jaco, you're working with a lot of brands in the SaaS space. You see all kinds of upselling motions. Alex just said they do upsell against number of files and also seat-based upselling. Do you like those models?
I love those models, but for favor for the audience, I always try to bring it extra oomph, like let me see what I have something on the loop. Like that extra, like where does your extra come from? It is not from upsell. I'm going to teach you a trick. This trick for all the listeners, think about the following. Your biggest opportunity is not upsell. It is not even cross-sell. Your biggest opportunity is resell. When one of your engineers, one of your audiences leaves for another company, it creates 2 sales opportunities. One with the new company where you follow them, and one at the company the spot they have left. That gives you 2x the growth. Most people forget about that. So in your world, when you see resell, upsell, cross-sell, all these, those are 4 different revenue generation motions, not just one. You can resell the user, you can renew the user, you can upsell the user with more content, or you can cross-sell, like in Google, where you go to another department, leveraging your credentials of the former one. Of these 4, resell is most commonly forgotten.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, really nice idea. We had such cases with some of our customers, people leaving from a company and subscribing again.
Guys, I want to show very quickly before we let Jaco go. Jaco, look at this pattern I'm going to show you here. And Alex, this is only looking at stuff going through your Stripe account. But when you turn on from October 2018 forward to October 20, the first 30-day lifetime value, look at the job you're doing increasing how much customers pay you in the first 30 days. It used to be just $50, $60. It's clear you started testing plans that cost more because, I mean, you saw this is probably an anomaly here because maybe there's one massive customer, but paying you $220 in the first 30 days. And what's interesting is when you start stacking these curves on top of each other. So if we look at the second 30 days and what they pay you, and the third 30 days, and eventually actually turn on all of the realized collected cash from your cohorts, you see that the cohorts you signed up back in December, January 2019, realized cash collected from them has been about $350 versus customers you signed up last month already have in 2 months of history, lifetime value equal to almost like 24 months of history back here. So there's a clear enterprise opportunity here in terms of driving up lifetime values. Jaco, you see any other patterns here?
It's a good time to start selling. I would say I'd love to give a hot handoff to Dev Basu, a well-respected colleague, who's gonna dive in on this. Yeah, I would say is that what you see here is a money printing machine. So I am I'm looking forward to whoever is going to make a bid on you, and if they can recapture this value. Good luck on that.
Jaco, if people want to learn more from you online, where can they find you?
winningbydesign.com, or look us up on YouTube, which is youtube.com/winningbydesign, and you will find me everywhere. Otherwise, just type in Jaco and sales, and it would be shocking if you don't find my name.
Jaco from Winning by Design. Thank you, sir. Let's bring on Dev Basu with Powered by Search. Dev, what is Alex doing great here, and what opportunity do you see?
Well, Alex, you built a great business, and Jaco, thanks for the tag in over there, man. I really appreciate that. Look, I think that the part that you're really winning at, Jaco, or Alex, right now is you're looking at a current addressable market that's about this big. It's about 1,000 searches or so per month for people who are looking for migration or conversion from Objective-C to Swift. Part of that, of course, is that there's this huge market of legacy apps that you can convert into Swift. And as you mentioned, it sounds to me like all the modern app building is happening on Swift anyway. So there's like a finite sort of window of opportunity that you can really tap into for sure. A lot of what you're getting right now, though, is from people who have already made up their minds that they want to go through that conversion. I wonder how many of these enterprises have a lot of apps that they could potentially convert into Swift, but they haven't gotten around their mind to actually getting there. Is there a content opportunity to build in over here to get them to that level of awareness, basically? The folks who have already decided to convert from, Objective-C to Swift, you're already owning that market. And as some people in the audience said, there's not a ton of competition over there. So you're going to ride that curve no matter what. But is there room for expansion over here? That would be one of my questions. What do you think of that?
I definitely see that the situation with enterprises changes rapidly. As I mentioned, we have just built a list of potential enterprise customers, which are large companies that have apps in the App Store, like banks, utility apps, well-known companies, etc. And the list includes already at least 1,400 companies, and I'm sure that we are missing a lot more. So we may definitely count all our potential users. Moreover, someone has written a script which allows you to see which App Store apps are using Swift or Objective-C in a proportion. We can use that, and we are going to use that to explicitly target users which need this solution.
That's awesome, because I think if you got that list, I mean, a lot of these apps are probably not ranking well on the App Store. They're legacy apps that users are using, and there's a bunch of technical debt in continuing to develop them until you do convert them over. I wonder if you might be able to create some catch pages on the site and actually start ranking for the app names themselves. And then that might get you some traffic for, not only going outbound to those companies, but they'll start looking for their own app. And now suddenly you're ranking for their app name on Google. And that might be a good way for them to go, oh, you know what, you want to pop in a bit of your code and get that converted. It's just a good flywheel, basically, to make. The other thing I noticed on your site is that a lot of what you're ranking on is that support Swiftly, your Zendesk support desk. You rank for a number of different terms over there, and many of our B2B SaaS customers also have help desk. One of the things we do in their playbook, which almost is, it's a bit of an afterthought really, is take every single article that you have or technical help writing and add a call to action underneath that says, if you're new and are not using our platform, here's a link to sign up, and whatever the action is, convert your first, file from Objective-C to Swift. And we've seen sort of like 20, 30% uptake in terms of trials or demos, depending on what kind of client we're working with, just by doing that. And so the help docs are a missed opportunity sometimes. It's not sexy, but it really works.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Actually, we have such a banner linking to our website. Sign up in any single article that we have in our Medium blog. Thanks for pointing out the same about Zendesk articles, but otherwise we are doing that. We are posting that to social media, and actually good suggestions. Thanks.
Awesome. Dev, use keywords of the other apps was your first suggestion. The second one is, you write help tutorials, use them for SEO value. Why not, right? Good stuff. If people want to learn more from you, Dev Online, where can they find you?
Just find me on Twitter at Dev Basu, or check out poweredbysearch.com.
And we'll put that link in the bio for everyone. Dev, thanks for joining Dealer Bus. All right. So guys, Alex, there you have it. 2 pieces of feedback there. Yako and Dev, valuable?
Sure, yeah. Really great conversation. Really fun.
I'm glad to hear you found some of those things interesting. It's always tough, obviously, right? You're building the company, and it's always about priorities. Tell us quickly before we bring the buyers back on. And those of you just joining, again, you're watching Deal or Bust. We've got buyers about to join and see if they can get an offer done with Alex. Alex is looking to sell between 51 and 100% of the company for between, call it 450 at a $450,000 valuation. Alex, is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, great. And so tell us quickly about the team. So who do you have working on this?
I have around 8 contractors who work from Ukraine, Russia, India, US. I used to hire or use one person per one task. Like we have a web developer, we have a desktop developer, we have a converter developer, we have a developer for our app code plugin, and the guy who does marketing, article writing, and customer support. So
and when you add up the salaries, like what you pay all the people on the screen right now, Ivan, Yaroslav, Dmitry, Abraham, and Ivan, when you add up what you pay all of them per month, what's your total headcount expense per month?
Around 5K USD per month. This is because I just want to grow the product. If you minimize that, it will be like 1K. We can expand it to more. This is up to the buyer.
Okay, great. So $5,000 a month there on expenses, doing about 20,000 top line. The rest, obviously, have some server costs, $500 a month built in, but the rest really does hit the bottom line, which is great. Guys, before we bring the buyers back on, what are you guys thinking? You guys on LinkedIn, what do you think? You guys watching on YouTube, what do you think? Do you think Alex gets an offer here? And if so, does he get 450? What would you guys value this company at? Again, growing nicely since 2014, now doing about $20,000 a month. Call it $10,000 a month in free cash flow. So there's real profit to work with here, which buyers love. A DevOps tool. What sort of offer do you guys think Alex potentially gets here? And Alex, while folks are typing, any last things you want the buyers to know before we bring them back on that we haven't touched on already?
I don't have any. I just wanted to add that the new converter, which is a storyboard to SwiftUI converter, is currently in MVP stage. It is a free product. I value it like 10% of our original converter. So this is up to the buyer whether to include this in the sale or keep it separately. So I have plans to develop it. I love to work on the product even after the sale, but we can do either.
So you would potentially stay with the product post-sale if that was important to the buyer?
Yeah, most of the talks with buyers, I see the buyers value the fact that I love the product and I want to stay potentially. So I would love to.
All right, very good. Let's bring the buyers back on. Let's add back Matt, Chase, Preston. Matt, Chase, Preston. Actually, Chase, we'll go to you first. Anything surprise you about the feedback from Yako and Dev in terms of the opportunities for growth?
No, I mean, I think, I don't know. I don't know really how big the market is, honestly. It feels like a bit small to me. I mean, I'm sure there's opportunities for growth from where you're at now. I just don't know where it can go eventually.
Alex, how big is the market?
The market of enterprises is at least 1,400 companies, large companies that have App Store apps, and we have more than 100,000 free registered users, and the total addressable market is more than 10 million iOS developers worldwide.
Alex, is that included in the sale? Do you have a list of 100,000 essentially of your free signups where if someone with a marketing or sales brain came in, they could essentially market or sell to that list?
Yeah, sure. The list is, of course, included is our registered users.
Okay, great. Chase, any other follow-up questions here before we get to offer or dropout time?
Nope.
Okay, Matt, let's go to you. Any last questions?
No, I guess I kind of heard you talk about how you want to be involved kind of ongoing. And I'm guessing that the whole team would be able to stay in and stay contracting and all of that stuff, correct?
Yes, so the team is willing to stay, and since all processes are well documented, I have no problems to replace any particular person. We do not exclusively depend on any particular developer. I had very few buyers who wanted me to leave after the sale, but most of them value the fact that I have this expertise and I manage the team.
Alex, I don't want you to go anywhere. I don't know how to program any computers, man. I need you. We need you. We love you. Our whole model is to partner with technical founders. So we actually bring in that sales expertise and we apply that for free to the company and allow it to grow free cash flow. So we're very excited about this one.
Awesome.
All right, Matt, we'll come back and see if we're gonna make an offer here in a second. Preston, let's go to you. Any last questions?
No, all good.
Feel good. All right, very good. Alex, let's jump in here. Guys, if you're watching live, this is the time where the buyers, they have the data. We started 51 minutes ago. They've seen the P&L. They've seen the great job Alex has done launching this in 2014. It's grown from 2015 to 2018 to 2020. Now doing about $20,000 a month and $10,000 a month in profit. So $240,000 annually with $120,000 in profit. Really interesting opportunity here. Team of Alex, basically, and then a contractor's team of 5 other people that he pays a total altogether of $5,000 a month for. Let's see what happens here. It's time for deal or bust. Chase, let's go to you first. You making an offer here or are you out?
You know what? I think I'm out.
And why?
I don't know how, I just don't know how big the market is and how long it goes on for. So it just doesn't, it feels like, I mean, I'm sure there are opportunities to build other converters and expand into companies that need this today, but does, you know, the need for your core product, is that increasing or decreasing right now? I don't really know. And, you know, what does this thing ultimately look like in 5 years? I really couldn't get there.
All right, Chase, thanks for coming on Deal or Bust. Alex, any reaction?
Well, quick comment about the next 5 years. I expect that even if the rate of non-enterprise customers may flatline or even slightly decline because the product has this time window, I see a huge increase in market for enterprises at the moment. So for the next 5 years, this will be actual for enterprises. Same time, we are launching new products. So we have 2 different axes for growth. First one is enterprise sales, and the second one is adding new products.
All right, Matt, let's go to you. Where's your head at?
Can I push? I'm going to definitely make an offer. I've had that happen to me on the show before, so I'm just asking if I can be the last one to
Preston, offer. Matt's being smart here. He'd prefer to have a one-on-one shot at Alex versus competing with you, but maybe you're interested. Are you going to make an offer or drop out?
I will give it to Matt. I'm going to drop out.
And why?
It's, you know, for me, like it's super niche, which is fine. It can be a great kind of competitive advantage there, but the opportunity is in the enterprise space. I mean, the churn is pretty high on the individual user base. And you need a very, I think, seasoned skill set and team in that B2B space to go after the enterprise. And I don't think I could bring that to the table for this particular product at the moment. But congrats to you, Alex. Super cool. And good luck, man.
Thanks, Preston. All right, Matt, Alex, it's down to both of you. There seems to be good energy here. The question is, can you get to a spot where you both agree? So Matt, Alex, this is your show now. Matt, what's your offer?
Yeah, so we're fine with your asking price of $450K. I think the biggest thing is we'd put in just like a 3 to 6 month performance thing, just tap to the EBITDA truing up to what we're saying it is over the last 12 months. So we're totally fine with that. We'd like to purchase 85% of the company. The reason we're going to do 85% is so we're actually going to invest. We have 3 partners. So I have myself, another former CRO, and an FP&A finance person. We come in, help run the whole go-to-market side of the business. You continue to do the product side. And that allows all of us to get a good piece of, the action here from that perspective. And then we'd continue, we'd expect you to continue to do the 20 hours a week. And then we'd give you that 15%, obviously, in cash flow. So you'd still, be able to draw somewhat of a salary from this. And then as we grow it, we look at capping that salary so that we can still invest back into growth. So, yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward. We're excited about this. Actually, when I looked at popularity of Objective-C, it grew a little bit faster than Swift last year. I think there's interesting opportunities with agencies that might have customers with outdated applications. And then I think there's a play actually to help older developers kind of come into a new era with this. So yeah, we're excited. We definitely love to make an offer and make a deal happen with you.
Alex, Matt is smiling and giving you what you want and saying they want to move forward, but you've built this baby for 5 years. You want to make sure you get the perfect deal possible. Matt's offering to buy and give you the value you wanted, $450,000. They want to buy 85% of the company, which would be $382,500. You keep 15% and keep a revenue stream by getting, as they pay out dividends, you would take 15% of that flow over time. What are your thoughts on the offer?
Well, great. Of course, there will be quite a lot of aspects that we will not be able to cover in this call. Of course, for example, whether we include the new converter or only the Objective-C to Swift one. Regarding my remaining part and involvement, maybe we need to discuss if I still work half-time and I get only 15% of the company, I need some compensation for my work, because it may be quite miserable, at least initially. But otherwise, I think we will sort it out.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely wanting to purchase all of the converters. I think that's an important part of this company. And then we need your help, obviously, to expand the offering to future languages and things like that. And, as we go forward, from an individual compensation perspective, we can kind of figure out those things. The big thing to keep in mind is at the current cash flow, our team wouldn't be taking any cash for ourselves off the table. So that's why we look at, trying to make that. What we're trying to do is build, value into the company and keep the money rolling back into growth, right? That's the important thing that we care about. As long as that's the ethos that we can find a way forward on, then I think we can, make it happen.
Great. I like your enthusiasm. Of course, let's schedule another call to discuss anything, but otherwise, you look really great and excited, and I like what I hear from you. So, yeah,
Alex, let me beat Matt up a little bit more here. Matt, is it $382,500? Is that all cash up front for the 85%?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
we're fine on that.
And if all the profits are going to be reinvested over time, but Alex is essentially still working full time on this, he has the 15% equity, which is great. There's upside there, but he also asked about what could some sort of payment or salary look like if there's no dividends to pay out. Give us a range. I mean, how do you approach this conversation with founders? What sort of salary would you essentially give him to keep, working full time on this?
Yeah, I mean, we can look at a few things. The biggest thing to remember is that once we come into the business, our plan is to grow this. So the 15% that you're getting today is going to grow over time from a cash flow perspective. So that's number one. And we're not taking cash out of the business during that time. So I want to make that really, really clear. The second thing is, if there's certain expenses that need to be met and we need to talk about a per diem or something like that, we can look at that for a period of time until we hit specific metrics. And then we can go forward from there. So we're open to different things and different models. We want to be founder friendly. We can't be here without you. And if you're not motivated and taken care of, then this whole thing won't work anyway. So we're realistic about that stuff. So thanks, Nathan, for keeping us honest there. I appreciate it.
So Alex, I'm going to sum this up. We got to put a nice big ribbon on the show. There'll obviously be a diligence call afterwards. But again, to sum up, we had 3 buyers. You've built a great company, right? Objective-C to Swift converter. You've grown it over time. There's real profits. Matt's model is to buy companies, support especially developer-focused founders. He's giving you the exact valuation you asked for, $450,000. He's buying 85% of the company via his firm, which is $382,000 in all cash upfront, with the caveat being that you keep working on this full time. Your incentive to do that is you still own 15% of the business, and you guys will work out some sort of salary in terms of what you'll be paid fixed over time. The goal here is not to take cash out of the company after the acquisition. The real goal is to really grow it and take advantage of the growth of Objective-C and Swift. Yes or no? Are you taking the deal?
I am definitely good about taking the deal. I just wanted to remind that my initial proposition was 450 for the original converter and another 10% for storyboard and Swift UI. I don't know how you about that, so I value the new converter, which is currently a free product, like 10% of this It's up to you.
I'll let you guys work through the details of
Sure.
tools that surround the main business offline. But this, deals always, sometimes they start off so far apart, there's no way in hell a deal is going to happen. This to me feels like a very perfect fit. There's good energy. It sounds like we've sort of got a deal here. You guys chat offline, get it done. We'll have you back on in a couple episodes for an update on how the deal went down behind the scenes. But in the meantime, Matt, thanks for coming on and congratulations.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, Alex, where's your head at? You like Matt? You think this will work out nicely?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Actually, great show. I'm very excited about it. So,
were you nervous coming on, and sort of was this what you expected?
Yeah, I had a pretty busy day. I had a lot of circumstances with our products. So I am like 13 hours since I started this work day. I'm pretty tired, but I'm still excited.
Very good. Well, thanks for coming on, Alex, and congratulations. Guys, you just watched another episode of Deal or Bust. The slides look great because SlideBean is our design partner. Check them out at slidebean.com/Latka. They've created thousands of pitch decks for founders that have raised billions and billions of capital or sold their companies. They're the guys you want to use for this. Go to, again, slidebean.com/Latka. Remember, if you want to come on the show as a buyer or seller, check out nathanlatka.com/casting. And if you're watching right now and you want to buy SaaS companies as maybe your first starter business, go to helloexit.com/buy to see a list of companies in the SaaS space for sale. There's one right now. It's a very interesting deal. You guys all actually know the founder. I can't say the name, but I can tell you, you all actually know the founder very well. It's doing $1.6 million in ARR. You can go to helloexit.com/buy to check that deal out. And remember, if you want to catch future episodes, make sure to subscribe here on YouTube if you are watching on YouTube. Hello, obviously, everyone on LinkedIn and everyone else. And make sure if you're on another platform, go to nathanlatka.com/invite. When you do that, you'll get a calendar invite each week when a new episode is live, just like we did today. So you can join live in the comments. And lastly, guys, the show is not possible without you guys. Cameron Blackwell saying congrats on the deal, guys. FJ Obrego saying you got Alex to smile. Nathan, congrats. I think Alex is a happy guy. I think he's a happy guy. He's just focused and tired, right, Alex? He's been coding all day. John Lane saying love the show. Shabam saying congrats, Alex. Ebenezer saying great show. Christopher saying awesome show today. Guys, you just got done watching another episode of Deal or Bust, where founders come to sell their companies live. I will see you next Thursday at 1 p.m. Central for another founder, another episode, and maybe another deal. Take care. Bye-bye.